Ajoa stood in front of the mirror in her small bedroom, adjusting the hem of her dress for the third time. It was a beautiful wine-colored gown that hugged her waist and flared out from the hips. It was not flashy, but it was perfect for the birthday party of a man she had given her heart to for 2 whole years. Kojo was her lover boy with the charming smile, who had enough Instagram swag and 1,000 followers for every excuse he had given her. But Ajoa didn't mind. She was not with him for his followers or for his showmanship. Rather, she loved the version of Kojo the world didn't see. The Kojo who brought her wake after school, who consoled her when she cried over her sister's death, and who always told her, "You are my peace," after their late night phone calls. That was the Kojo she had chosen, the Kojo she believed in. However, her best friend Amma had a different opinion about him. "Ajoa, this your Kojo likes crowd too much. Everything is content for him. Are you sure he even sees you as a person or just as content?" Ajoa laughed it off. "Amma, he has changed though. This past few weeks he has been serious. Last night he even said he wants to talk to me about something important at the party." Amma raised her brow. "Do you think he will propose?" Ajoa smiled shyly and shrugged. "Who knows? Maybe." She didn't want to say it out loud, but yes, she would jump up to accept the ring. She had even painted her nails baby pink just in case a ring made its way to her finger tonight. The party was holding at a rooftop garden in Osu. Kojo had rented the place. Actually, it was sponsored by some event plug he was collaborating with. There were bright lights, a stage, and a giant LED board that read, "Kojo at 38, still winning." There were also cameras everywhere. Even before guests arrived, a small media crew was already setting up. Kojo didn't just love the limelight, he lived inside it. By 7:45 p.m., the garden was filled with people who were laughing and drinking. Ajoa sat quietly at a side table with Amma, trying not to hope too much, but Kojo kept staring at her, smiling as if he had seen a candy. Then, at exactly 8:30 p.m., the lights dimmed and the MC's voice echoed through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, I present the man of the moment, Kojo Ansah." Everyone clapped and cheered as Kojo walked onto the small stage with swagger in his steps and a wireless mic in his hand. He smiled. "Thank you all for coming, but tonight is not just about me. It is about someone special, a queen in my life, someone who has made my journey beautiful." Ajoa's heart skipped and her hands began to shake. Kojo looked directly at her. "Ajoa Amankwa, please come up here." Amma squeezed her hand. "Hey, it is happening." Ajoa stood shyly and walked slowly towards the stage. The crowd parted for her like the Red Sea. People brought out their phones and turned on their cameras. Her heart pounded so hard that she could hear it in her ears. Kojo held her hand, gently pulled her to the center of the stage, and then he knelt down. The crowd froze. "Oh!" Ajoa too froze. Kojo brought out a small velvet box and opened it. Inside was a silver ring. He looked into her eyes. "Ajoa, will you marry me?" The crowd couldn't hold back anymore. They were shouting and clapping. Amma was crying and people were filming. Ajoa burst into tears like a woman who had waited too long to be chosen in public. She covered her mouth and nodded. "Yes." Kojo stood up, placed the ring halfway on her finger, then pulled the mic closer and shouted, "Gotcha!" There was silence. He burst into laughter. Loud, unbothered, and mocking laughter. Guys, chill. It's just a prank, oh. Social experiment. Relax. But she's a good sport. There was scattered laughter. A few people clapped nervously. Someone in the back said, this one is too much. Ajua didn't move. Her hands were still stretched out and she blinked her eyes as if trying to understand the joke. Her tears didn't stop, but they changed. They were now tears of anger and humiliation. Kojo continued talking, waving at the cameras and trying to hype the crowd. It's going on YouTube tomorrow morning. Fake proposal prank. Her reaction was mad. Don't forget to subscribe. Amma had already run to the stage. She held Ajua tightly and pulled her down. Come, let's go, Ajua. It's enough. Let's go, please. Ajua allowed herself to be dragged away as she saw her dream melting in front of the same crowd she had prayed would clap for her wedding. The next morning, Ajua woke up thinking it had all been a nightmare. She sat up in bed confused. Her eyes were swollen. For a moment, she thought she had dreamt it all. The lights, the proposal, the ring, the laughter, and the humiliation. But then her phone vibrated. Then it vibrated again and again and again. She picked it up and saw over 300 missed calls and WhatsApp messages. Then she saw a video link titled Kojo's proposal prank. You won't believe her reaction. She clicked the link and it opened to a YouTube video, a high quality and well edited video with slow motion effects of her crying and saying yes, followed by Kojo's booming laughter and a freeze frame zoom on her shocked face. In the background, someone even added dramatic sound effects and emoji reactions. It already had over 1 million views in less than 6 hours. The comments were worse. This girl no get sense. After 2 years, Kojo is mad, but this girl is too desperate, I beg. These are the women making men feel like gods. Pick me women. See Mumu love. She would have broken his head there. Why did she just stand like a statue? Ajua dropped the phone. She couldn't breathe. She staggered to the bathroom sink and looked into the mirror. Her face was puffy and pale. She had not even removed her makeup properly. She splashed cold water on her face and stared at herself. God, why me? Downstairs, her auntie Mama Essie was already shouting, "Hey Ajua, so you are the girl in that video? The whole compound is talking, oh. Someone even called me from Tamale. They said you are trending in shame." Ajua's body went cold. Just then, Amma called her. She did not even greet her. She was already crying on her behalf. Breathe, Ajua, breathe. Don't go online yet. Don't read anything, please. Well, it was already too late. As Ajua stepped outside that morning, she nearly entered the ground. Her neighbors stood in clusters talking about the video. Even the children were discussing about it. The headmistress of the school where she taught English called her to the office. "I think you should take a little time off, Ajua. The parents are already calling and the children are laughing. Just let it blow over." That afternoon, one of her students shared a meme of her face on TikTok with the caption, "When he says marry me, but it's just for YouTube clout." Another student came to class with a plastic ring and pretended to kneel before the class captain. Ajua went home that day and cried until she lost her voice. And to make matters worse, she hadn't even heard from Kojo, the real monster. Instead, that evening, he posted a follow-up video titled "Ajua is a Queen, the real truth behind the prank." In it, Kojo sat on a couch acting serious and he said, "I just want people to know Ajua is a beautiful soul. She knew it was a prank. She even helped to plan it. But now, people are twisting the story. Stop abusing her, please." Ajua screamed. She had never agreed to any prank, not even 1%. She had told him months ago that she did not want public attention, that she had no interest in YouTube or online fame, and she had begged him to protect her privacy. But now he was lying to millions of people. Her phone vibrated again. It was a message from her uncle, a pastor in Cape Coast, who had seen the video. "My daughter, I warned you about men who love cameras more than Christ." Then her cousin's message came next. "Is it true you were in on it? Why are you trending for the wrong reasons?" Her mother, who had returned to the village after suffering a mild stroke last year, called her crying. "Ajoa, what is this thing I am hearing? Why are they laughing at you on Facebook? Is this why you didn't want to marry Kweku the electrician?" Everything was spinning on her, and Kojo, that demon, was still online thanking his fans for the engagement gone wrong content and celebrating his 200,000 YouTube subscribers. Ama came over that night with ice cream. They sat on the floor together, saying nothing for a long time. Then Ajoa said, "Ama, I want to die." Ama dropped her spoon. "Don't say that." Ajoa shook her head. "I gave him everything. I even fasted for this man. I sowed seeds for this relationship. I defended him when people mocked his content. I believed in him." Ama held her hands. "You will not die, Ajoa. We will fight." Ajoa looked at her. "How?" Ama wiped her tears. "I don't know yet, but we'll fight somehow. He can't get away with this." Then Ajoa's phone vibrated again. This time, it was a message from an unknown number. "You don't know me, but I am Kojo's friend. You need to see something. Meet me tomorrow at Cafe Energy. I will show you who Kojo really is." Ama grabbed the phone and read the message. "Should we go?" Ajoa looked up and nodded. "Yes, let's go." Now, Cafe Energy wasn't the kind of place Ajoa would have loved to visit because it was loud, the blaring Afrobeats, and the Instagram girls with wigs and lashes all felt like a mockery of her current life. She sat in a corner with a hoodie over her head and sunglasses on her face. Ama sat beside her, scanning every mail that walked in. He said 2 p.m. It's 2:15 already. What if this is a setup? Ama asked. Ajoa shrugged. If Kojo sent someone to finish me, they should just do it already. At least I will rest. Ama rolled her eyes. You are not dying, please. Your story is just beginning. Just then, a man in a navy blue shirt walked in. He scanned the room and walked over to them. Ajoa, he asked. She looked up. Yes, he sat opposite them. I'm Kwame, Kojo's guy, or let's say former guy. Ama folded her arms. Talk, we are listening. Kwame took a deep breath. Look, I have helped Kojo film content for almost 3 years. Pranks, street interviews, fake skits, and even some of the relationship stuff. But what he did to you, nah, that was wicked. And just so you know, it wasn't even for views. He just wanted to show that no woman could embarrass him first. He told us you were getting too emotional and that he needed to humble you before you started asking for marriage. Ajoa's lips opened, but no words came out. Ama leaned forward. Wait, he planned that proposal with her in mind? With cameras? Kwame nodded. He hired 2 professional videographers, told them it was a live proposal and that they should be ready to capture every raw emotion. He even rehearsed the kneel and laugh part with me. Ajoa laughed dryly. He rehearsed my heartbreak. Kwame pulled out his phone, scrolled through a few folders and placed it on the table. It was a video of Kojo 2 days before the party, sitting in a car with Kwame and 2 others. Kojo was talking. Charlie, you people should just wait. When I kneel down and she starts crying, don't laugh, oh, hold it. Let the reaction marinate. I will give her one hot, just kidding, and walk off. She will shake like a tree. It's going to break the internet. They all laughed. Then someone said, Kojo, you bad past devil. Ajua closed her eyes and Amma covered her own mouth with her hand, but Kwame wasn't done. He opened another folder. This time, there were voice notes of Kojo with the same arrogance. Ajua dey feel say she go pressure me into marriage by playing good woman. I go shock her after this prank. If she still stay, I fit consider her. If she gets angry, well, good riddance. Now, that shattered the remaining pieces of her already broken heart. Ajua placed her hands on the table and leaned forward. Why are you showing me all this? Kwame shrugged. Because I want to stop helping him destroy people, and because I realized that what he did to you wasn't just wicked, it was dangerous. You've lost yourself and you are disappearing. That's what he wanted. Amma grabbed the phone, sent all of it, the video, the audios, everything. Kwame nodded. I will, but don't just upload it anyhow. He will deny and spin it. Ajua nodded. I won't upload it yet. I will let the truth speak slowly, and when it starts talking, Kojo won't be able to laugh over it. She looked out of the window and narrowed her eyes. First, I will write my story, but not like his videos. I will use his own words, those voice notes and those videos. I will make him listen to himself. Amma nodded. And we'll make people listen too, but this time on our own terms. Later that night, Ajua sat on her bed with her laptop open. She started recording. My name is Ajua Amankwa. I did not agree to be content. I was just in love, but love should never be a joke, and a woman's tears shouldn't be someone's punchline. But since we are all into content now, then let's ride along. She played the first voice note, then she looked into the camera. You all laughed when I cried. I get it. You thought it was funny, but before you laugh again, just listen. Meanwhile, Kojo sat in his car outside one of his usual hangout spots that night, skimming through his notifications and grinning like a child licking icing off a cake. His latest video, a sit-down interview he titled, Why I Pranked My Girlfriend, The Real Truth, had just hit 1.8 million views. He had sprinkled some fake remorseful lines, a few crocodile tears, and blamed editing for how the clip made Ajua look. Well, it was working as expected. The comments were mixed. Some were calling him toxic, while others were calling him a marketing genius. He smiled and leaned back in satisfaction, unaware of the storm that was coming, because by morning, Ajua's video would have done what she never imagined possible. It shattered his foundation. Online draggers resumed their job. Wait, so Kojo rehearsed everything? Did you hear the part where he said, if she stays, I'll consider her? That guy is a sociopath. He called her emotions marinades. Ew. Big pages reposted the voice notes and recordings. There was enough evidence such that Kojo couldn't talk his way out. He couldn't say it was scripted. He had been caught in his own voice, planning the downfall of a woman who trusted him. He tried to respond with another video, but it was a big mistake. He titled it, She's Using Me for Views Also. And online people dragged him like power cables during Harmattan. Their comments poured in. Shame on you, Kojo. She did not even mention your name. You exposed yourself. So, you mock her, break her, lie on her, and now she speaks and you play victim. You are not a content creator. You are a content criminal. Next, tragedy followed. His sponsor started pulling out. The drinks company that gave him free bottles every weekend tagged him in a tweet. We do not endorse any creator who uses humiliation for entertainment. To that effect, we've ended our partnership with Kojo Answer, effective immediately. His favorite studio where he shot all his polished YouTube content messaged him privately. Bro, we love you, but for now, Don't bring your shoots here. The management said we should pause. People are threatening to boycott. The shame even followed him offline. He went to buy suya at his favorite joint, but the vendor shook his head and said, "We don't serve comedians that use women's tears as their joke." He entered a barber shop and the barber pretended not to recognize him. Kojo smiled. "Charlie, you don't know me?" The barber wiped his hands and said, "Oh, I know you. You be the guy wey dey kneel with ring wey turn to comedian. Sit down, let me prank your hairline too." The shop burst into laughter. Kojo lowered his head in shame and walked out. He could not find peace in Accra anymore, and it finally dawned on him that his power had shifted. He tried putting out more prank videos, but the number of dislikes was more than the number of views. Kojo was losing everything he once used to control: the fame, the followers, and the flattery. Yet Ajoa said nothing. She did not reply his shade. She didn't even give interviews or try to go viral again. She simply went back to her quiet life. 1 week later, Kojo posted a reflection video. He was seated in his car again, trying to cry. I feel bad for everything. People make mistakes. I'm sorry to all the women who felt triggered by what I did." As he clicked upload, it did not even take up to 5 minutes before his comment section caught fire. Women roasted him. One of his exes replied under the post with screenshots of her own past voice notes, where he had once threatened to post their bedroom video if she ever tried to embarrass him. "You called Ajoa desperate, Kojo. Remember when you said I wasn't wife material because I refused to fake a breakup video with you for engagement?" Then another girl came with her own story, and then another. One guy wrote, "Kojo is the reason women should now check if the ring box has a camera inside. He thought time would clear the dust, and that if he kept his head down long enough, the internet would forget what he did to Ajoa and people would move on." And it seemed so, because 6 months later, the proposal prank had died down, but unfortunately, Kojo's YouTube channel died with it and was now like a ghost town. The last video he uploaded, titled "Please Forgive Me," was the worst forgiveness video ever. The sponsors never returned, the brand gigs dried up, and his Instagram became a deserted museum of old photos with comments turned off. He tried everything from rebranding as a mental health advocate to starting a podcast and joining TikTok with soft voice quotes. But every post was met with one recurring phrase: "We haven't forgotten Ajoa." Even his friend who had withdrawn with him at the time of the scandal never returned. The final straw came when his mother, his only real supporter, called him one evening after church and said, "Kojo, I raised you better. You didn't just disgrace that girl. You disgraced me." The pastor used your prank as an example of end-time foolishness. That night, Kojo stared at himself in the mirror and saw the emptiness that had enveloped him. All the likes, the fame, and the fake pranks, none of it filled him. Without a crowd, he was nothing. He picked up his phone, stared at Ajoa's name for a few minutes, then he deleted it. He knew he wasn't even worthy of her anger anymore. So, no need. As for Ajoa, she had made peace with her life. She focused on school, markets, and church, and now love had become a language she no longer wanted to hear, until that Thursday morning when she went to buy fabrics at Makola Market. She was tired and frustrated as the fabric seller had annoyed her by increasing the price in the middle of their transaction. As she turned to leave, she bumped into someone. A thick voice said, "Sorry, it's my fault." Ajoa stepped back and muttered, "No, I wasn't watching." He smiled and said, "You dropped this." Ajoa looked up and paused. When he handed her the small handkerchief she didn't know had fallen, she nodded. took it and walked away quickly, thinking that was all, but fate had another plans. 3 days later, she ran into the same man again, this time at a supermarket. She was buying canned tomatoes while he was comparing mop brands. He saw her and waved. "You again?" Ajoa's instinct was to wave back and disappear, but he walked over, held up 2 different mop heads and asked, "Do you think this one will clean better, or is it just fancy packaging?" She giggled. "That one is useless. You will mop twice with it." He nodded. "Thanks. My name is Mensa Dapa, by the way." Ajoa nodded, then offered her hand. Ajoa, they talked briefly, and that was when she knew he was a 41-years-old owner of a logistic company. He was divorced with no kids, no Facebook, and no Instagram accounts. She didn't believe him. What man has no social media in 2025? No Facebook, no Instagram, not even WhatsApp stories. He smiled. "I don't really care about social media." Ajoa blinked. "At all?" "Nope, I have heard enough horror stories." As time went on, they continued to meet again and again, and each time they met for either lunch or to talk, Ajoa felt peace in a way she hadn't with any other man. Still, she resisted. She wasn't about to go through another roller coaster with a son of Adam. As such, anytime Mensa looked at her for too long or does something for her, she would brace herself for a punchline that never came. Until one Saturday evening, after a small dinner at his place, when he asked, "Ajoa, what are you afraid of?" Ajoa sighed and said, "I need to tell you something." Mensa paused. "All right." "Last year, I went viral." He nodded. "Okay." "Not for anything good. My ex-boyfriend proposed to me on stage at his birthday party in front of everyone. And when I said yes, he laughed and said it was a prank. He recorded it, posted it on YouTube, and it trended." Mensa's face changed. He sat forward. He did what?" "He made content out of my heartbreak. He gained subscribers. I lost my respect. My students mocked me, and my family were ashamed." Mensa didn't speak for a full minute. Then he said, "And you are still standing? Most people would have withdrawn and disappeared. But you are here, talking about it like a full-grown woman. That's a strength. I respect that." Ajoa looked at him. "I'm afraid of being laughed at again." Mensa looked at her. "I understand your fears, but hear me. If I ever make you cry, it won't be for content. It will either be because I am standing beside you during childbirth or holding your hand during your mother's funeral. I don't do jokes with people's hearts." Tears spilled from her eyes. That was the first time she cried in front of him, and he did not record it. He just wiped her tears and held her. For 4 months, they had the most beautiful and respectful relationship. Mensa never raised voice at her or flooded her with empty words. He never called her my queen. He just called her Ajoa, and somehow that simple name now felt more sacred than 1,000 pet names. But despite the peace, she was still afraid. Every time Mensa looked at her too long, she would fidget and brace her heart to be defensive. What if this ends in another joke? What if all of this is a strategy? She carried these questions like invisible weights until one Saturday evening. They had agreed to spend the evening at Mensa's house, and after eating dinner, they were sitting on the rug watching TV when Mensa stood up and disappeared into his bedroom. Ajoa thought he was going to bring water or a blanket. Instead, he returned holding a small brown box. Her defensive instinct stood up immediately. She shook her head. Mensa, no. But he came, sat in front of her, and placed the box gently between them. "I don't want you to panic. Just listen. Ajua didn't move. Mensah explained, I don't have a plan B and I am not trying to go viral. I don't even care if you say yes now or next year, but I would regret it for the rest of my life if I loved you this much and never asked. He opened the box. Inside was a beautiful ring. He reached forward and took her hand. I want to marry you for life, not for show or for applause. Her heart was beating fast and she looked around the room as if expecting someone to jump out with a camera. Is anyone recording this? She asked. Mensah laughed. No, Ajua, the only person here is me. And I don't even know how to press record on a phone. Ajua smiled shyly and nodded. Okay, yes. He slid the ring onto her finger, kissed her forehead and said, thank you for choosing love again. That night, she lay in his arms on the same sitting room rug, staring at the ceiling fan. She turned her head, admired the ring and smiled. Mensah asked, what are you thinking about? She turned to him and smiled. How I said yes twice and it turned out not to be a prank this time around. They both laughed and went on to discuss how many guests they would have at their wedding. Thank you for watching the story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comment section. Share the story out with your loved ones and give the story a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another story your way. Bye.